No, we can't hear Prabhu anything. Are you speaking?
Om Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chakshurunmritam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Narayanam Namaskritam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Nirbhavati Nastiki. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So last week we discussed this verse from Canto 3, chapter 25, verse number 21. Prasangam ajaram pasam atmana kabayo vidu saheva sadhu sukrito moksha dwaram apavartam. So I would like to continue. The next verse is, that verse tells us, this verse was spoken by Bhagavan Kapil Dev, that every learned man knows very well that attachment for the material is the greatest entanglement of the spirit soul. But that same attachment, when applied to the self-realized devotee, opens the door of liberation. Now Lord Kapil Dev is instructing us in this verse. Who is Sadhu? So, Titikchavaha karudika suhridaha sarvadehinam ajata satravaha santa sadhava sadhubhusala. Titikchavaha karudika. Titikchavaha karudika.
Titikshava karunikaha
Suhridaha sarvadehinam
Srohruta sarvadehinam
ajata satravaha santa
Ajata satrava santaha
sadhava sadhubhusala.
Sadhavaha sadhubhushanaha
Now you can chant, Prabhuji.
Titikshava karunikaha
Titikchavaha karudika.
Suhrudaha sarvadehinam
Suhridaha sarvadehinam
Ajata satravaha santaha
ajata satravaha santa
Sad sad Sadhavaha sadhubhushanaha
sadhavaha sadhubhusala. Anyone else? If nobody is there, we can read synonyms. Titikchavaha,
Titikshava
tolerant.
tolerant
Karunika,
Karunikaha
merciful.
merciful
Suhridaha,
Shrudaha
friendly.
friendly
Sarvadehinam,
Sarvadehinam
to all living entities.
to all living entities
Ajata satravaha,
Ajata satrava
inimical to none.
inimical to none
Santa,
Santa
peaceful.
peaceful
Sadhava,
Sadhavaha
abiding by scriptures.
abiding by scriptures
Sadhubhushana,
Sadhubhushana
adorned with sublime characteristics.
adorned with sublime characteristics.
So now translation by His Divine Grace, Sri Prabhupada. The symptoms of a sadhu are that he is tolerant, merciful, and friendly to all living entities. He has no enemies. He is peaceful. He abides by the scriptures, and all his characteristics are sublime. So once again, the symptoms of a sadhu are that he is tolerant, merciful, and friendly to all living entities. He has no enemies. He is peaceful. He abides by the scriptures, and all his characteristics are sublime. So now, purport by Prabhupada, we can read. A sadhu, as described above, is a devotee of the Lord. His concern, therefore, is to enlighten people in devotional service of the Lord, service to the Lord. That is his mercy. He knows that without devotional service to the Lord, human life is spoiled. A devotee travels all over the country from door to door, teaching, be Krishna conscious. Be a devotee of Lord Krishna. Don't spoil your life in simply fulfilling your animal propensities. Human life is meant for self-realization or Krishna consciousness. These are the preachings of a sadhu. He is not satisfied with his own liberation. He always thinks about others. He is the most compassionate personality towards all the fallen souls. Therefore, one of his qualifications is Karunika, great mercy to the fallen souls. While engaged in preaching work, he has to meet with so many opposing elements, and therefore the sadhu or devotee of the Lord has to be very tolerant. Someone may ill-treat him because the conditioned souls are not prepared to receive the transcendental knowledge of devotional service. They do not like it. That is their disease. The sadhu has the thankless task of impressing upon them the importance of devotional service. Sometimes devotees are personally attacked with violence. Lord Jesus Christ was crucified. Haridas Thakur was caned in 22 marketplaces. And Lord Chaitanya's principal assistant, Nityanand, was violently attacked by Jagai and Madhai. But still they were tolerant because their mission was to deliver the fallen souls. One of the qualifications of a sadhu is that he is very tolerant and is merciful to all fallen souls. He is merciful because he is well-wisher of all living entities. He is not only a well-wisher of human society, but a well-wisher of animal society as well. It is said here, Sarvadehinam, which indicates all living entities who have accepted material bodies. not only does the human being have a material body, but other living entities such as cats and dogs also have material bodies. The devotees of the Lord is merciful to everyone. The cats, dogs, trees, etc. He treats all living entities in such a way that they can ultimately get salvation from this material entanglement. Sivananda Sena, one of the disciples of Lord Chaitanya, gave liberation to a dog by treating the dog transcendentally. There are many instances where a dog got salvation by association with a sadhu. Because a sadhu engages in highest philanthropic activities for the benefits for the benediction of all living entities. Yet, although a sadhu is not inimical towards anyone, the world is so ungrateful that even a sadhu has many enemies. What is the difference between an enemy and a friend? It is a difference in behavior. A sadhu behaves with all conditioned souls for their ultimate relief from material entanglement. Therefore, no one can be more friendly than a sadhu in relieving a conditioned soul. A sadhu is calm and he quietly and peacefully follows the principles of scripture. A sadhu means one who follows the principles of scripture and at the same time is a devotee of the Lord. One who actually follows the principles of scripture must be a devotee of God, because all the Shastras instruct us to obey the orders of the personality of Godhead. Therefore, sadhu means a follower of scriptural injunctions and a devotee of the Lord. All these characteristics are prominent in a devotee. A devotee develops all the good qualities of the demigods, whereas a non-devotee, even though academically qualified, has no actually good qualifications or good characteristics according to the standard of transcendental realization. Very good. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. So let's discuss one by one all the points here. Prabhupada explains a devotee, a sadhu, as described above, is a devotee of the Lord. So you can see here, Titikshava Karudika Surda Sarva Dehinam Ajata Satrava Santa Sadhava Sadhavusada. So Lord Kapil Dev, son of Mother Dehuti, is instructing his mother, who is sadhu, because in the previous slok he told that our attachment should be directed to a sadhu. Now here he is telling us the symptoms of a sadhu are that he is tolerant, merciful, and friendly to all living entities. He has no enemies. He is peaceful. He abides by the scriptures, and all his characteristics are sublime. We can see that symptom is he is tolerant because he knows the laws of karmas, so he is not reacting. And he also knows that if I have to react, I have to suffer according to my reaction. Then he is merciful because he knows that everybody is brother and sisters. Because Lord Krishna says in Gita, Aham Bija Pradapita, I am the seed-giving father of all living entities. Friendly to all living entities. And that's why he is friendly to all, everyone. Because that's why Krishna is pleasing. He has no enemies and he has no enemies because everyone is children of God, Krishna. And he is peaceful. By thinking so, he is peaceful because he is realizing that Krishna is ultimate. Last time we discussed, when we realize three things, we become happy. Bhagavan Krishna says in Gita, Bhoktaram Jagatapasam Sarvalok Maheswar Bhoktaram Jagatapasam Sarvalok Maheswaram Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam Gyatva Mam Santimrichati. The one who knows that I am Bhoktaram Jagatapasam, I am enjoyer of all Jagya and Tapasya. Suhridam Sarvadehinam, and I am Suhrida, I am well-wisher of every living entities, all living entities. Suhridam Sarvadehinam. Oh, sorry. Bhoktaram Jagatapsam Sarvalok Maheswaram. I am Maheswar of all lokas. I am ultimate controller of all lokas. Bhoktaram Jagatapsam Sarvalok Maheswaram. Suhridam Sarvabhutanam. And the third thing he said, Suhridam Sarvabhutanam. I am Suhrid, I am well-wisher, I am friend of everyone, every living entity. Suhridam Sarvabhutanam. And then at the end, Gyatva Mam Santimrichati. He said, the one who knows these three things, that I am enjoyer of all Jagya and Tapasya, I am Maheswar of all the Lord, I am well-wisher of everyone, they become peaceful.
He is peaceful.
So I don't know where they got the
by the scripture, and all his qualities are sublime.
Peace formula. But here, Lord Kapil Dev again explains the same thing, that he is peaceful. Who is peaceful? The person who knows that Krishna is everything. He is enjoyer of all Jagya and Tapasya. He is ultimate controller of all the lokas, and he is friends of everyone. That person is peaceful. He abides by the scriptures, and all his characteristics are sublime. True. Now, a sadhu, as described above in purport, a sadhu as described above is a devotee of Lord, of course. One who knows, who abides by scriptures, and who knows that Krishna Bhagavan is ultimate. He is a devotee. He is a worshipper of Lord Krishna, Bhagavan Krishna. Because in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan says that in 10th chapter, Bhagavan says that Aham sarvasya prabhava mattah sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samannita. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. So here Prabhupada said it rightly, that a sadhu is described above with the devotee of Lord, because a sadhu knows that Bhagavan Krishna is the source of all spiritual and material worlds, and everything emanates from Bhagavan Krishna. So he knows by heart, he knows by practice. His concern, therefore, is to enlighten people in devotional service of the Lord. So that's what he does. Therefore is to enlighten people in devotional service to the Lord. He tells everyone that that's the only duty a human being has in the human form of life. And that's again the order of Bhagavan Krishna in Gita. In 18th chapter, he said that one who tells this secret to devotee is very dear to him. So that statement says that one who tells Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam to devotees, because many devotees also don't know. But here, Prabhupada said to people. Therefore, his concern therefore is to enlighten people in devotional service to the Lord. So even he goes one step ahead and tells everyone about this secret. That Bhagavan said that become my devotee. So he spread his words. A devotee, a sadhu, he spread Krishna's word. That is his mercy. That is ultimate mercy. Because Prabhupada explains that if you give one day's food to someone, he might come again another day hungry. Then he might do some nonsense. But once you give him, even if you give him enough money to live comfortably in this life, if he is not doing right thing, he might go to hell. He might come back again, take birth again, and then loiter again in the street or do something else. But the ultimate mercy is to give Sambandha Jnana, the one which is explained in the previous line. His concern therefore is to enlighten people in devotional service. That is his mercy. So once a sadhu, once a devotee of the Lord gives Sambandha Jnana, that Krishna is your father, you have to obey your supreme father Krishna. That is his mercy. Then once that person follows Krishna's order, he becomes liberated, he becomes happy. He knows that without devotional service to the Lord, human life is spoiled, as we all discuss every day. So this is clear. If we don't do devotional service, either we do good or bad, we have to come back and suffer again. But when we do devotional service has no reaction, and it is very dear to Bhagavan Krishna. He advertised in Bhagavad Gita that come to my Vaikuntha. After coming to Vaikuntha, one has an opportunity to stay forever there. He says, Natadbhasayate surjo na sasanko na pavaka jadgatva nivartante taddham paramam mama. He says, my abode by Vaikuntha is illuminated not by sun and moon. Natadbhasayate surjo na sasanko na pavaka. Neither sun nor moon nor fire or electricity. Jadgatva nivartante taddham paramam mama. And by coming there, one has not come, one will not come again in this material world. So here, a sadhu knows that without devotional service to the Lord, human life is spoiled. What is the meaning? What is the result of human life? He will have to come again and again. A devotee travels all over the country from door to door, preaching, be Krishna conscious. He says, be Krishna conscious, because Krishna is our father. Krishna has created everything for us. And everyone is constitutionally, last time we discussed, constitutionally servant of Krishna. Krishna is the only master. Be a devotee of Lord Krishna. Do not spoil your life in simply fulfilling your animal propensities. Prabhupada here used a hard word, animal propensities. So As we all know, Prabhupada had this that categorized and taken gist from the Shastras, and then he put it in a proper perspective in English language. So everyone can read it. So there are 4 animal propensities described in Mahabharata. Ahar nidra bhay maithunam cha samaname tat pasubhi naranam dharmai visesa dharmai visesa adhiko dharmai and dharmai bihina pasubhi samana. So I'm forgetting few words there. Ahar nidra bhay maithunam cha. So animals do 4 things. Ahar means eating, nidra sleeping, bhaya fearing, and maithuna mating. Ahar nidra bhay maithunam cha saman metat pasubhi naranam. These 4 activities are saman, means similar, in pasubhi and naranam, in animals and also in humans. These 4 activities are similar. Animal also eat. Animal eat, we eat. We get satisfaction. We get strength. We sleep. Animals sleep. We sleep. We sleep on $1,000 mattress, and they sleep in the streets. That's the difference. But the sleeping process is same. That nobody can argue. Either one is a great scientist or a simple person. They can understand. Ahar, nidra, bhaya. Animal fears. When we go closer to them, they fear. They go away. And we also fear. They protect with their arms and their nails and claws. They run away. They have different strategies. We also have different strategies. We have arms, different arms, from a stick to a nuclear missile. We have a wide range of things to counteract our fear. Ahar, nidra, bhay, maithun. The animals mate and they produce their children. And we also mate. We also produce children. These 4 propensities, these 4 basic act is similar in humans and animals. So don't spoil your life in simply fulfilling your animal propensities. So all modern human is doing is mostly they are simply fulfilling their animal propensities. That's all. If they are not Krishna conscious, if they are not devotee. Human life is meant for self-realization or Krishna consciousness. So this is the goal of life. So whoever reads this, they get enlightened by writings of Prabhupada. So we should become sadhus. We should preach. Human life is meant for self-realization or Krishna consciousness. So one has to ask who we are. The self-realization is understanding who we are. And Prabhupada explains it nicely that self-realization and Krishna realization, Krishna consciousness, both are same thing. Once we know who we are, we automatically know who Krishna is. And then the purpose of our life is completed. So we say that my ear got bad, my nose is running, something like that. My eyes has some problems, or my eyes are beautiful. But my head, my hand, my leg, my body, they say my body is paining. But then if this is my body, then who am I? The language evolved that way, that we have this body and we are separate from this body. We are the soul. That soul lives in our heart. So that was the understanding before. Even in English, we say our body, our head, our nose, my nose. Then who am I? Earlier, I hope people knew, and they designed the language in this way that one will ask, who am I? But nowadays, nobody's attention is there. So to know who am I. So once we know that we are soul, and then we know where soul comes. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that Mamaivanso Jivaloke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana Manasasthani Indriyani Prakriti Sthani Karsati. That every living entities is part and parcel of mind. So Mamaivanso Jivaloke. In all the Jivalokas, all the 14 planetary system in each universe, Jivas, living entities are everywhere. Like now they are exploring on the Mars. And they are saying that they saw some picture and they are speculating that this might be mushroom. They are saying that this might be mushroom on the Mars. So they might be true. Living entities are everywhere. And Prabhupada explained in a different way that, and which is a realistic way, that this body is made of 5 great elements: earth, water, air, fire, and sky. So in some planet, on earthly planet, water is predominant. Our body is mainly made of water, 80% water. If we don't drink water, we will get dehydrated. Water will go away from this body and we will not be able to function. But on some planet, depending on the predominance in these 5 great elements, the body can be made of fire, body can be made of earth, body can be made of air. And it's very logical, because if someone has 80% fire, imagine they can survive on sun. And that's explained in our Shastra that there is a presiding deity of the sun planet, and he is riding on horses. So that might be true. If we are able to, in future, if we are able to do research on that, we might be able to find all that. So human life is meant for self-realization. Krishna says, everyone is my part and parcel. And therefore, one has to know from where I come, and then after spending few years on this earthly planet, where I'm going. So we use words like he passed away. So passed away from where? So the word is correct. He passed away. Someone passed away. Like someone passed from this earth. He went somewhere else. But then we never bothered to think after that. After that person passes away, we have to think where that person has passed away, where that person has gone. And that exactly is explained in Bhagavad Gita, from where we come, from where we go after doing good karma or bad karma or bhakti. There are 3 kinds of duties that we can do, 4 kinds of act that we can do. We can do karma, which is explained in our Shastra. We can do bikarma, that is not explained in Bhagavad. We can do anything. That's called bikarma. And then the third, only 3. And the third one is, so if we do karma, good karma, we'll get good reaction. When we do bad karma, bikarma, we'll get bad reaction. But when we do bhakti, that has no reaction, because we are doing everything for Supreme, then for Krishna, then that will have no reaction. Why that will have no reaction? Because that is done for Supreme, and everything belongs to Supreme. Everything belongs to Krishna. So if we do anything, everything for Krishna, that is bhakti. So here, these are the preachings of a sadhu. He is not satisfied with his own liberation. He is not satisfied with his own liberation. So a sadhu might be liberated, but he is not satisfied there. He wants to make sure that he does his complete duty, because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that whoever tells this to a person who is interested is very dear to me. So sadhu wants to be very dear to Krishna, to his Supreme Father. He always thinks about others. So he always thinks that how can I convince someone else about Sambandha Jnana. I can give Sambandha Jnana to someone that, hey, Krishna is your father. Why you are loitering in the street? Why you are working so hard for nothing? So that's his mentality. And also Krishna says this, that whoever does this is very dear to me. He's the most compassionate personality towards all the fallen souls. So Sadhu is the most compassionate personality towards all the fallen souls, because he knows exactly what Shastra is saying. And if we do bad thing, we have to suffer reaction. So he knows if anyone does bad, he has to come back and suffer again, either in this life or in next life. So why don't I educate them on transcendental bhakti? Therefore, one of his qualification is karunika. That's why a sadhu is karunika. Great mercy to the fallen souls. He has mercy towards all the living entities. While engaged in preaching work, he has to meet with so many opposing elements, and therefore the sadhu or devotee of Lord has to be very tolerant. So some people might ill-treat him or her. So he has to be very tolerant, because these people don't know what is their disease and why they are suffering. So one has to be very tolerant. Someone may ill-treat him because the conditioned souls are not prepared to receive transcendental knowledge of devotional service. Because in conditioned state, most people are collecting things just to do all animalistic activities, like the 4 activities that we discussed. So they don't have time to think of something else. And in that matter, if a sadhu is going to instruct him about devotional service, he might not like it. If they do not like it, that is their disease, that they do not understand. Like we don't understand so many things. The sadhu has the thankless task of impressing upon them the importance of devotional service. So nobody thanks him, because he's going to tell about devotional service, don't do all the bikarma, and our inherent nature is to collect all the matters, because we think we are this body. So let's collect other things which can be useful for our body. So we think superficially that way. And if someone is teaching beyond that, we are not thankful to them. That's why Prabhupada said that sadhu has thankless task of impressing upon them the importance of devotional service. Sometimes devotees are personally attacked with violence. Like everyone knows that Jesus Christ was crucified for teaching about devotional service. Haridas Thakur, Namacharya Haridas Thakur was caned. He was beaten by the orders of Nawab in 22 marketplaces. And everyone knows that, I guess. If Lord Chaitanya's principal assistant, Nityanand Prabhu, was violently attacked by Jagai and Madhai. So they didn't understand the transcendental nature of devotional service. So they were all patita, fallen souls, and they attacked Nityanand Prabhu. But still they were tolerant. So these sadhus, Rupa Singh, Jesus Christ, Haridas Thakur, and Nityanand Prabhu, they were giving an example of a sadhu, and they were tolerant because their mission was to deliver the fallen souls. Their mission is to teach them, deliver these fallen souls, because they might suffer more if they were not taught. So one of the qualifications of a sadhu is that he is very tolerant and is merciful to all fallen souls. That's true. He is merciful because he is well-wisher of all living entities. That we already discussed. Krishna is well-wisher. So a sadhu also knows that everyone is children of Krishna. So let's be well-wisher. In that way, we can become very dear to Krishna, our Supreme Father. He is not only a well-wisher of human society, but a well-wisher of animal society as well. I mean, in America, most people have dogs in their house, but that is not exactly a well-wisher of animal society. People eat animals. That's not well-wishing. It is said here, Sarvadehinam, which indicates all living entities, not only dogs, not only cats, everything, every living entity who have accepted material bodies, all animals. Not only does human being have a material body, but other living entities such as cats, dogs also have material bodies. Cows also have material bodies. The devotee of the Lord is merciful to everyone. The cats, dogs, the trees, even the trees. We should not cut trees unnecessarily, because nowadays people are seeing repercussion of cutting trees and imbalancing the nature. It treats all living entities in such a way that they can ultimately get salvation from the material entanglements. Wow. So he treats all living entities in such a way. I have heard some devotees chant even in forest, in gardens, so the trees can hear Krishna Katha, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and then they can get salvation. So, yeah. So he treats all living entities in such a way that they can ultimately get salvation from this material entanglement. Sivananda Sena, in the time of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one of the disciples of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, gave liberation to a dog by treating a dog transcendentally. So that's one story in Chaitanya Leela. There are many instances where a dog got salvation by association of a sadhu, because a sadhu engages in highest philanthropic activities for the benediction of all living entities. And we see the story, our history in Bhagavatam, that Bharat Maharaj became deer, and in the form of deer's body, he get association of sadhus in Madhubana. And by getting association of sadhus, he got another birth as a Brahmana, and then he did devotional service in that life and went back to Godhead. So here, in this way, we can understand how Sivananda Sena, one of the disciples of Lord Chaitanya, gave liberation to a dog by treating the dog transcendentally. Then that dog might have gotten human form of a body, human form of body, or you might have taken birth in a devotee's family, and therefore by doing bhakti, he might have gone to the Vaikuntha. And so here, although a sadhu is not inimical towards everyone, the world is so ungrateful that even a sadhu has many enemies. That's true in these days. If you teach someone a good thing, he might become your enemy. So that's clear. What is the difference between an enemy and a friend? It is difference in behavior, how people behave against someone. That is the difference. A sadhu behave with all conditioned soul for their ultimate relief from material entanglement. Therefore, no one can be more friendly than a sadhu. So he is the ultimate friend. Sadhu is the ultimate friend because he is teaching ultimate relief. Because once we do bhakti, once we do devotional service, we go back to Godhead, and then we don't have to come to suffer in this world. Because Bhagavan Ji said, this is suffering here. We think it's enjoyment. Like we think, oh, we are earning very comfortably and we are happy. No, we are tortured by Maya all the time. I mean, nowadays we see the real face. With this pandemic, coronavirus, we are suffering. Even if we are staying comfortably in our home, we are calling our relatives, our parents in India, oh, be careful. No, because the situation is there bad. And so in that way we suffer. We can realize that whatever Prabhupada is saying and whatever is told in Bhagavatam is true. So once we go to Vaikuntha, there is no death there. So Bhagavan says, Arjuna asked, what is knowledge? So Bhagavan said in 13th chapter, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi Dukkha Dosanudarsanam. He says that among many things that Bhagavan describes in few slokas, that Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, Dukkha, Dosanudarsanam. What is knowledge? To see that there is dukkha, there are miseries. Where is miseries? In four things: Janma, taking birth; Mrityu, dying; Jara, getting old; and Vyadhi, disease. These four are miserable. And in a way, in Shastras, it is described that there are only these four problems in this material world. There is no more problems. There are only four problems. But since we cannot solve these four problems, we made many other problems. And we are busy in solving that problem. So we diverted ourselves. So therefore, here, therefore, no one can be more friendly than a sadhu in relieving a conditioned soul. A sadhu is calm, he's peaceful. And he is quietly and peaceful. The sadhu is calm and he quietly and peacefully follows the principles of his scriptures, because then he gets test. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Param Drishtva Nivartate. When we get higher test, we move towards, we leave those bad tests, the conditioned test. A sadhu means one who follows the principle of his scriptures and at all times is a devotee of Lord. So Bhagavan Ji said in Gita that iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samannita. Then they worship Bhagavan Krishna with all their hearts, and then they become peaceful. One who actually knows the principles of his scripture must be a devotee of God, because all the Shastras instruct to obey the orders of personality of Godhead. That's described in Bhagavad Gita and it is described in Bhagavad Mahapurana in greater extent. So if you cannot understand Gita, we can understand by reading Bhagavatam, which is elaborately explained all those principles. Therefore, sadhu means a follower of scriptural injunctions and a devotee of the Lord. All these characteristics are prominent in devotees. As everything we discussed so far, a devotee develops all the good qualities of the demigods. This is explained in somewhere in Bhagavatam. Naraji said that one who becomes devotee, he gets he gets all the qualities of demigods. Whereas a non-devotee, even though academically very qualified, has no actual good qualification or good characteristics according to the standard of the transcendental realization, which is stable and perpetually there. So we need to understand all these things, and I think this is more clear with the mercy of Prabhupada. So I will stop here, and we can discuss if anyone has any suggestions or questions and comments. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, Prabhu, how can we become sadhu then? What practically?
We can follow this and we can understand. Like here, Prabhupada said, we have to make everyone Krishna conscious. We have to make everyone understand that Krishna is our Supreme Father, to give by giving Sambandha Jnana. So is tolerant, we can become tolerant, we can become merciful and friendly to all living entities, and he has no enemies. So in that way, if we are merciful to everyone, if we are friendly to everyone, then we will have no enemy, and then we'll get peace. And of course, that all comes from scriptures, and then we become sadhu. The secret is here in this verse.
Okay.
Right, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you.
So that I'm just one thinking, I understood that just I'm just trying to, think it within myself, that how these all possible practically, being in this material world and being
Yeah.
with living in a grihastha life. I'm just thinking myself, how can we achieve this?
I mean, we are doing little by little. I mean, when we go approach someone, someone says something, and then we tolerate, and we are merciful, so we go and talk about Bhagavad Gita. We have courage based on Shastras, so we abide by some teachings of Shastras. I mean, it takes time to become perfect, but with the association of devotees and working under guidance of a pure devotee, like Srila Prabhupada, will make everything possible. But I think we can do it. We are doing little by little. So, I mean, it takes time.
So is it that if someone becomes sadhu, that means when someone gets all these qualities, 6 or 7 qualities, then only he will be go back to the Godhead.
I think so. One has to be, I mean, in coming slokas, I wanted to find out that sloka and discuss last Saturday that I think Brahmaji was doing prayer to Garbhodaksai Vishnu that when until our interest is different from Krishna's interest, we cannot get liberated. So we have to dovetail, Prabhupada said, we have to dovetail our interest with Krishna's interest. That's the only way. And we can see the amount of time that we spend in Krishna consciousness, we are happy, we are liberated. But then again, when we go to the material world, do all the material activities, then we get miseries, we become miserable. So I think we have to follow 100%. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, "Je jatha mam prapaddante tans tathaiva bhajamyaham." I think we have to understand, and some people have understood, and they devoted their whole life. Like we can see recent passing away of His Grace Angry Prabhu. We were discussing that he served Lord Chaitanya's mission for over 50 years before, more than our life, more than our whole life. So it's a wonderful example how they understood. They understood everything with the mercy of Prabhupada, and they spent their whole life in the service of Krishna. So I think there is no way other than becoming 100% Krishna conscious. I mean, the person who is trying to become a sadhu is also considered sadhu. But as your question, to get liberation, we need to dissolve all our designations. All the first material body will be left over at the time of death, and then in the coming slokas, Lord Kapil Dev explains how our subtle body, mind, intelligence, and false ego will get dissolved with the bhakti. So once we dissolve our subtle body, which is made of mind, intelligence, and false ego, then we become Paramahansa. That is the definition of Paramahansa. They don't have false ego. They don't use their mind. They don't use their intelligence. They abide by Shastra. So that's the perfect stage. And I think one has to be there. I mean, if we say that everyone is a devotee, whoever chanted even one time Krishna's name, but that is magnanimity that is greatness of Lord Chaitanya, that he is saying, even if someone has chanted only once Krishna's name, he is a Vaishnava. But we don't have to stop there. We don't have to get puffed up by that, by hearing that statement. There is more deepness to that statement. And that might be that if one chants even once, and that might be offenselessly, because our chanting is offensive chanting. We think all the time, all the material things about our family, about our friends, about our house, about our children, and that's the offensive chanting. So who knows when we are getting at that stage when we do offenseless chanting, and even once chanting offenselessly might liberate us. and that and that has link with all these teachings of Bhagavan Kapil Dev, mother and the son of Mother Devahuti. And Mother Devahuti is asking all these questions on our behalf because she is already liberated. She is our mother. She gave birth to Krishna himself. So I think we need to assimilate as much as we can, because then Krishna will help further. So I think we don't have to stop anywhere we are doing. We have to do more and more so we can get more mercy and become perfect. Is that good, Prabhu? Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, it was nice explanation. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Is there any other comment or questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dhanavad Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Wonderful class, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, this, like this pandemic is going on, and more to come. And if you see the impact, it has given, to a lot of people, they are going through so much pain.
Yeah.
And but there are some people who has no impact, like in fact they are growing, because people who are, for example, like there are some sectors, like if you see stock market or if you see IT sector, they are enjoying their stay, enjoying in the sense that they are working from home. They have practically not, they don't need to go to office, stay at home and continue whatever, but there
Yeah.
are some who used to work in the restaurant or who used to be like in contact with someone. They got COVID, or or bus driver, bus conductor, or people who work in a community.
Yeah.
So they have, I mean, most of the people who are in a family has left their body, or some of them have lost their job, and they are suffering like anything. So is that like all driven by karma? Like it was their karma and they are suffering more in COVID, and some people who have good karma, they are not. Because if any disease comes, right, it should be common to everyone and it should impact everyone. But that's not the case what we see.
Yeah.
Like now, if you see in USA, America, everyone has taken vaccine practically and they are isolated and they are doing so good. But if you see in our India, people are struggling with medical facilities, and we are losing so many great souls also,
Yeah.
just because of the lack of facilities or lack of. So how it works, looks mysterious, how.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes it looks like it's there is some issue in the lawmaker itself, because it's not giving justice. If it is
Yeah.
there, it should be common to everyone should suffer, but that's not how it is. It looks
Yeah.
to me. So can you please elaborate, Prabhu, like why some
Yeah.
people are suffering so much, someone is losing job and someone is enjoying.
Yeah, I mean, Bhagavan says in third chapter, Gana Karmano Gati. So he explains everything. What is karma, what is bikarma, what is akarma, bhakti. But then at the end, he says, Gahana Karmano Gati. So let me find that verse. In 4th chapter, sorry. Karmano yapi bodhabya cha vikarmana akarmanascha bodhabyam gahana karmano gati. The intricacies of action are very hard to understand. Therefore, one should know properly what is action, what action is, what forbidden action is, and what inaction is. So one has to know properly. So we don't know yet properly. So that's what our Supreme Father is saying here. The intricacies of action are very hard to understand. So he says at the end here, Gahana Karmanogati. So even our Supreme Father is saying Gahana Karmanogati. I mean, he could have given a list of all these activities that you asked, but ultimately he said Gahana Karmanogati. Because, I mean, you are right in some aspect, but some aspect, like you are saying, if I'm comfortable here in my apartment, I have another kind of suffering. I call my mother all the time that be careful, follow all the rules and regulations, be active. Otherwise, if she is in ICU or she is in trouble, I have to go there. And even I was planning to go there earlier in April, but then my family suggested, let's get 2 vaccines and then you can go there. I got my second vaccine on 22nd of April. By the time it was already worse there. So I postponed that. But I'm suffering all the time. I'm fearful all the time. If she is getting bad there, I have to fly. Even if it is bad there, worse there, I have to go there because I'm the only son. I'm the only child of my parents. My father is no more. He already left his body. My mother is there with my relatives, my uncles. So most people are suffering in that way because we have 3 kinds of suffering. Daihik, Daivik, Bhautik. That's this suffering that I'm having is given by one living in given to another living entity by another living entity from one another. And this pandemic is given by nature. So the Daivik and Bhautik. Bhautik tapa is I am having Bhautik tapa. And Daihik tapa everyone has. So even one who is comfortably sitting, the owner of this Zoom company, he made $1 billion, I guess, by sitting there in his office in California somewhere. So when he will have fever, he will also suffer. When Trump was having fever, he was suffering. It's not that a president or a comfortable businessman will not suffer. Like, so that might be difficult to understand, but we are suffering in one way or the other. Like right now, I explain my situation. I am having Daivik, Bhautik tapa. I instruct all the time with them. Early morning, when I get up, I call them. When I go to bed, I call them. In the middle also, I call them. So it's not, we are not, if everyone we know becomes devotee, then we understand that even if someone is dying, he's going back to Vaikuntha. So we don't have to bother about him. But as you said, people who goes work in a restaurant or in office, they might get COVID, they might suffer. So, I mean, I contemplate all the time on these things. I think we can discuss these matters regularly and by giving Shastric examples. Because in Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Mahapurana, there is much evidence, but I think we need some other scriptures like Manu Sanghita. Manu Sanghita is the manual of mankind. So there, I always had questions. I asked this question to Prabhu also. Once I went alone and I asked him, and then he said, "Become a devotee, get initiated." So because we do all nonsense, Prabhu, all the time. Like earlier in my scientific endeavor, I was using animals in my research and killing animals sometimes. When I read Bhagavad Gita, I stopped that. I was praying from within that how I will get relief from this animal killing business. Though we say, oh, we are scientists, great, we are doing science in America. But what we do bikarma, we kill animals. So in one chapter, 10th canto, actually there are two chapters to read and contemplate. That when Bhagavan gave darshan to Muchkunda after killing Kalajavana, Muchkunda explains and asks Bhagavan Krishna for liberation and bhakti. Then Bhagavan told him that you are a Kshatriya and you killed many, many animals in this life. So you are not getting liberated in this life. Like Rasraj Prabhu asked. So we have to abide by all scriptures. Then Krishna said that in the next birth, you will be a Brahmana. And by doing all devotional service to me, you will come back to me. So see, he has not gave concession to Muchkunda. So I don't think we qualify for concession. So we have to follow what is the rules for mankind, what is described by Manu Maharaj in Manu Sanghita. So I looked in Manu Sanghita and there are different, I have not read all Manu Sanghita, but I read few verses. And there are different atonements for different activities. Then I asked Pyare Prabhu and Jiva Mataji what to do. Like it is explained that we have to do pranayama, anulom vilom, another pranayama for killing like the living entities that has no bones. Like if we kill bacteria, if we kill earthworm, we have to do pranayama for atonement to counteract that bad activity. But we need to discuss in a proper way, in a systematic way, what to do, what not to do. I think in ancient time, it was all structured in our life. So even if we do bad things, like it is explained in Manu Sanghita that if we pluck flower from a tree or if we harm plants in some way, we have to do some atonement to get rid of that bad karma, because plants are living and they suffer when we pluck their branches or fruits or leaves. So it is explained to that extent. So see, we are not aware, but in earlier time, we were taught. I mean, in my time, my father used to say, don't break any flower or leaf unnecessarily unless you want it. So you used to tell, but we were not understanding, but that seed was given there, So I think we need to go back and we need to ask that question, and we need to understand Manu Sanghita, what we need to do so we are not perfect. We might have done something wrong. And here we can understand in this present scenario that whoever is not, now we know that whoever is going to closer to a patient with COVID will get COVID. But there are other remedies also, like Swami Ramdev ji is teaching us do this pranayama, do this, do kapal bhati, do all that, and eat this, eat that, and then your immune system will get stronger. So I don't think I have seen Baba Ramdev putting a mask there, because he is much confident on his Ayurveda and pranayama and yoga abhyasa that his immune system is so strong that it can discard coronavirus right away. So we are not listening to him also. If all people in this world listen to him, coronavirus will not survive. So one way or the other, we are not doing right thing. And yes, whoever is not, like one family, Indian family here in our colony, they don't put mask. They are saying they are anti-masks. See the nonsense? They have not felt the pain of COVID, so they are saying they are anti-mask. If they will suffer COVID, they will put 2 masks. Even 5 masks they will put, So it's all the bad karma that we do. And we can see if we don't obey this rule, that whoever will go closer to the patient will get COVID, we will get COVID. So right there, we are doing bad action. So, and also we are, like you're saying, whoever is going to restaurant for work or office or in a hospital might get COVID. So that's a different level, level of sharing karma. Like there are rules that who shares whose karma. Like king of a state gets 1/6 of pious activity of his citizen. I think it is from Manu Samhita. And a wife gets 50% of good karma of her husband, but she keeps 100% good activities of herself. So these are the rules that is described in, I think this is also from Manu Samhita, but I am not sure. I have not read particularly. But the one example that I gave, that we have to do pranayama for killing those living entities that has no bones. So I think it depends on how much they suffer when we kill them. Like a chicken or a goat, they suffer a lot when people kill them. So there are different atonement for them, that we have to take birth again and they will kill us, that Prabhupada explained. So I think in some aspect, in some places, we have to share sins of our inmates, our friends, our office colleagues, our family man. So I think there are rules and regulations, but if we obey all the rules and regulations that is taught by Manu Maharaj, then we will not suffer. If we seal an office perfectly, then we will not get that rejection. But if someone is not obeying, then we have to suffer their part also, because that might be, and that is there. If someone is doing bad thing, like if someone is, like they are saying, this is Indian variant, this is UK variant coronavirus. If someone is going from UK to India and he is infected, they are spreading that. That is the consequence of his travel from UK to India or India to somewhere else. So if someone is taking, like we are circulating that instruction by Prabhupada that someone got cholera when Prabhupada was on this earth. Then he told, why did you go there? Then said, oh, it's a chance I got cholera. Then Prabhupada was scolding him that no, this is not a chance. You know that people are having cholera there, and then you went there knowingly. So you have to suffer. Why you go there knowingly? So we could have avoided this, but the head of the state were so liberal that they allowed to spread this, and they are and even in the light of knowledge of Ayurveda, like see how Yogi Ramdev is treating all the people with so many diseases, but our head of the states are not, they are not bothered about that. They are not bothered on doing research on that. So it's unfortunate that we are choosing leaders like that who don't care about the transcendental knowledge given in our Ayurveda that can relieve everyone on this earthly planet. Even a week, in a month, it can be eradicated, but they are not obeying. They are not giving weight to the teachings of Ayurveda. Even I was not aware of the benefit of pranayama. When we control pranayama is like when we regulate our air. There has been proper and research done on regulated breathing here at different institutes. But even after that, we are not paying attention to that. So when we do pranayama, our lymphatic system gets activated. The lymphatic system has big role in immune system. So you can see everything is linked scientifically, but we are so dumb. We don't do research on Ayurveda. We do kill animals and do all the nonsense research. So we can see, so whoever does in a particular kingdom, like in America, if we do good thing, 1/6 of our pious activity will go to Biden. In India, when people do good things, 1/6 of that activity will go to Modi. In that way, if that person does some bad thing, there might be some rule that we need to aware of that. So it's all Gahana Karmano Gati. And I think if you perfectly insulate some office, that everyone is living in particular area, you seal that office, then you are protected. Then you are following laws of karma perfectly. But if someone from that group is going out, they will bring the disease. Then we have to suffer. So I think everyone is suffering one way or the other. One who is comfortably sitting and multiplying their monies by stock market, they are also suffering. They are having compassion towards living beings, and they are agitated all the time to give their money for human, to alleviate human suffering. In that way, they are also not happy. So, I mean, I'm not talking about some fortunate ones who knows how much devotional service they did in the previous life, how much dan they did, because this all that we get here is predestined and a result of our past karma. I mean, we can see that we work very hard in our school, so that has some karmic effect that we are able to get some kind of job here or there, and in this way we can understand. But it is impossible to control everything, to understand everything, because we were not trained in Manu Sanghita or Bhagavatam or other Puranas like Vishnu Puranas or other Puranas also explains. Padma Puranas explains the effect of karma, how to understand. Like there is a verse like Kutam Bijam Phalonmukham, something like that, that the karmas are in different form, and they have given an analogy, like in the seedy state, in the in the germinated state, in the state of a plant, in the state of a flower, in the state of a fruit. The karma also comes back to us in that way. It forms seed, and then that seed will germinate, take time. It will form the tree. That tree will have flower, and then when it will have fruit, that is the time of getting the result of karma. So it's very difficult to understand, Prabhu, and I think we have to have some kind of discussion to read these these karmic explanations.
Yes, Prabhuji, I think we should have another session where we can discuss all that. Maybe
exactly
it will have some. But thank you so much. Thank you so much for your
clarification.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, Prabhuji, I think it's 9:29. How much time do we have?
I think we are done, Prabhu. I think
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
I joined late because I was in another call, Maharaj, but I was hearing what you explained. So, Prabhuji, I have one follow-up question. You were explaining regarding the flower plucking and the fruits. So if let's say farmer, right, who does the farm business and he has to pick these fruits and flower. So he also get involved in the karma because if he doesn't do that, then it will get rotten after some time.
Yeah, that's true, Mataji. I mean, there are different rules and regulations in Manu Sanghita. So I think we have to read it. I mean, earlier we were like, we say our wealth can be purified by giving donations, right? So if we donate a portion of our wealth, it gets purified. So in that, if we extend that idea there, if we give those flowers and fruits to devotees, to sadhus, if we are feeding cows, if we are doing that for Krishna, then we are okay. Because we can do everything for Krishna. If we are completely Krishna conscious, then the reaction will not be there. If we are doing farming for Krishna, then no reaction will come us, right? Krishna says, Mamanusmar juddha cha. Mamanusmar juddha cha. Remember me and fight this, kill these people. So that's less than killing. Farming is less than killing people in a war. So why don't we do Krishna Anusmar and do farming? But we are not able to do that. We are not able to surrender Krishna. Krishna said, Sarvadharman parityajya mam ekam saranam braja. So that's the solution. I think in ancient time, it was suggested everyone to become devotee. Otherwise, there is no way. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nama iva kevalam. Kalau nasteva, nasteva, nasteva gatirannata. There is no way other than becoming a devotee. We have to become devotee. Yes, if we pluck flowers and fruits for our sense gratification, there will be some reactions, not with the fruits. I mean, we have to read those commands from Padma Purana or Manu Sanghita. I think if it is fruit, ripened fruit, there should be no karma. But plucking a flower, because we are obstructing its progress. But that's small things. Prabhupada said we have to focus on 4 regulative principles, and then everything will follow. So those are 4 main sins we need to avoid. Dyutam panam striya suna yatra adharma chaturvidha, Bhagavat Mahapurana. So, I mean, we are thinking so much right now that we have to focus on 4 more sins, not doing 4 more sins. Dyutam, Panam, Istriya, Suna. All the 4 regulative principles that we are taught in ISKCON. These are 4 major sins. Once we overcome that, then we can follow others. And we can surrender everything to Krishna. And then there will be no reaction.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, actually, yes, if we do if a devotee does a farming, then obviously he'll be having the consciousness of doing it for Krishna. But
Yeah.
my question was on the other side, as you explained, for if they donate it or something, they might purify, like a farmer.
Yes.
He need not to be a devotee, or he won't be a devotee, right? I mean, so many farmers are there. So that's it. Thank you, Prabhu, for the explanation. Hare Krishna, nice class.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Okay, Prabhu. So we can offer our pranam to Vaishnava. Vancha kalpa sindubhyev cha patitanam pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta koti Vaishnava vrind ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
His grace Alarnath Prabhu ki jai.
Jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.